How to overcome the fear of commitment. This can rise up in all kinds of ways with relationships, planning, activities, setting goals, anything that requires dedication and time. I struggle with this in a few areas of my life, and I use these techniques to help me cope. I'm good at it in some spaces, in others I'm not.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
The first thing that I got to do is be patient. Take the time to familiarize myself with the activity, the person, the goal, whatever it is that I am considering taking on. If you're meeting somebody, there can be an initial excitement, that euphoria that you face, that real attraction. If you decide to commit to a person in that moment of chemistry, that excitement, that euphoria that you feel at the time when you first meet, you can possibly put yourself in trouble if you're like me and you connect with people easily. You might need to give yourself prolonged time and exposure with this person before you make a solid commitment. Allow that initial excitement to pass. The next thing to do is look at the load of what it is you're carrying and consider if you actually have the time to commit to doing this thing. That can be with a person, it can be with a hobby, it can be with the building of a skill. I'm constantly working on things. I work as what I call it a bucket list coach. I help people to chase down adventure in spaces of their lives that they want to. And I have an endless list of things that I would love to do. However, I don't have the time to do all of them. And I have to prioritize constantly what is most important and what do I actually want to spend my time focusing on. When I choose not to prioritize that, well, I start to expand my interests so broad and so thin that it's like the rainbow wheel in my life spinning and saying, we're not getting anything done because you're just jumping in too many places. Reprioritize, carry my load, look at what is most important to getting me where I want to go, and then applying it. That can work in every space, not just with future plans, with hobbies. It can even work with relationships. The next thing that I do is I reshift my priorities if I decide there's something that I want to do, that I need to do, that is not currently on my list of what I'm carrying. I may decide, you know what? I really do want to learn how to get better at guitar. I want to take lessons. However, right now, I want to get certified to squirrel suit jump off a cliff more than I want to be good at guitar. That's actually a legitimate thing that I've been playing with. And so I am shuffling the deck and saying, this is what I truly want to do, and I'll get to this later once I've achieved that. I hold my deck as secure as I can, but every once in a while, something will come along that I say, you know what, I'm going to put this item on hold, and I'm going to chase this down because I see how it overarchingly applies to where I want to go. In the case of a person, that may be looking at your friends. Of the friends that you have, the people that you're with, the time that you spend with those that you love, is this person going to require you to reshuffle that deck and spend time in different ways that you don't want to? Are you going to lose interactions with those that you love? Or do you need to shed time with people that are taking away from you where you really want to go? You commit yourself to those that build you in the way that you want to build. Be intentional about that. It's important. The fourth thing that you need to do is to take action. When you have decided, hey, this is the stuff, I've spent some time here evaluating this, I really do want to do this. I also have the space in my load, I've reshuffled my deck, this is now going to be a priority. Well, now you got to act on it. You cannot sit and allow it to be a thought. You've got to move. That is where the commitment is evident. We can commit without action, and that is just a fantasy. It is not a commitment. When we take action and we start to move toward it, that is when we are seeing the progress toward what we finally want. So if you want to get better at a skill, if you want to develop a hobby, if you want to go on an adventure, if you want to get closer to someone, it will take time. It will take action. You must then put that person, if it's a person, into the schedule of your life. Things are going to have to evolve there. These things can change. You can shuffle your priorities if you want to. If you shuffle them too much, though, you will be a rainbow wheel. And honestly, it happens to me all the time. I will get focused, I'll be making progress, and then I get distracted by other things, and I have to constantly readjust and refocus. Some people have no problem with sticking to a plan and moving forward. I do. So if you're like me, I get it. Constantly readjust that plan to stay with the priorities you want. Did you know that when an airplane takes off, say from the airport where you're at, and lands on the tarmac in Hawaii, that's where I'd like to go right now because I wish I had more sunshine, it's spring. It only is on course 94% of the time by the time it lands on the tarmac. And yet the wheels hit that ground only being on course 94% of the time. The plane is constantly adjusting to the wind, the rotation of the earth, everything. Constantly readjusting its trajectory. It does not fly in one coordinate in a straight line to the end. That is how we must move through our own lives when we commit to something. Constantly adjust, constantly evaluate. Make sure you're going to hit your final destination, and you can let go of your fear of commitment because you know your final destination is being served. You should have something big that you're chasing. That allows you to put a focus on something that is smaller, like a person or a skill or some adventure that you're chasing. I had a friend when I was in school. His name was Steven Vandermeulen. Steven was a swimmer. He would go every day and practice for several hours. And I remember in the summers particularly, we'd be playing around, jumping on the tramp, doing stupid things that boys do. And his mom would pull up in the car and be yelling, "Steven, time for swimming practice." And we would watch him cry and stomp off and go to swimming practice. And I always felt so sorry for him leaving and swimming in the middle of all of our fun. And I thought, what a mean mother. Why doesn't he just quit? And I would ask him, and he'd just say, "I can't." He wouldn't blame his mom. He'd just say, "I can't." Well, Steven went to the Olympics in Seoul, Korea for swimming. He was my friend. And then when he went to the Olympics, I remembered all of those times that he had left us to go swimming. And I remembered the tears that he shed, and I remembered the euphoria that I felt in thinking that I got to still sit there in the mud and play with sticks. And I remembered thinking I was winning, and in that moment I looked and I thought, wow, that commitment, that willingness to move through that and adjust his course from playing in the mud or whatever we were doing with me and my friends and going swimming and staying committed to that got him on a world stage that I would have loved to be on if I had his skill. He did it with dedication and talent. Now you can apply that to people too, right? You can circle yourselves with people and commit to them and take that leap of faith. And as long as it feeds you, there will be tears. There will be moments where you feel like, is this not good enough? But evaluate, look, is this still a priority? Is this taking me where I want to go? Am I being patient with this person and getting to know them? Do I need to know more? Do I need to reshift my priorities and let something go that is causing us to have a problem in this relationship? Or does this person need to be shifted out of my priorities? And then take action. Always take action. Then you can get to that place you want to be. For me, I always take a look at these 4 things with everything I do because I find I expand, then I shrink it down, and I keep going. I don't know if you struggle with this, but if you do and you have trouble with commitment, I would suggest you run through this process really quickly, and you'll find that it gives you a lot of clarity and helps you commit in the spaces you might be struggling. All right, man, I'm James Burnham. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is my worst part. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Don't miss any content. I got some good videos coming up that can help you really dial in your future. Did I hit that? Did I just nail that? I hope I nailed that. The video's coming up. Here it is.